Hi, this is Jeremy Schoonmaker at Pre-Sales Channel TC for HP's MPS Group. And in this video, we'll be talking about HP WebJet Admin, specifically around how to deal with credential failures in WebJet Admin. Now, credential failures are pretty common when you first install WebJet. That's because WebJet uses different types of credentials to communicate to the MFPs or printers. And if it doesn't know the right passwords and usernames, then it's not able to communicate to the device. So I've got two devices. I've stuck them here in a group that's aired out that have credential failures, right? So you'll do discovery and you'll see these credential failures. Now there's two ways to deal with this, and one is on an individual basis and the second is on a global basis. So if you only have one device you need to update this for, this is an easy way to do it. All you have to do is right-click and click Update Credentials. Okay, this Needed Credentials button pops up, or box pops up, and it'll ask you for the kind of credential you need. Okay, and this could be embedded web server, it could be SNMP, it could be SNMP v3. In some cases, it could be a file system password. So it'll tell you what it needs. Now, in this case, it needs my EWS password. So all I have to do is type in the username admin, the password, and then I need to click the Set button. And here's what we're doing. We're not changing the password on the device. What we're doing is we're setting these credentials in the WebJet Admin's database to use to communicate with this device in the future. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do here. So when I click Set and click Finish, if I refresh this device, then WebJet Admin's going to try and talk to it. It's going to use that credential, and you see it disappears from my error group because now it no longer has credential failure. Okay, so that's one way to do it, is just do it by one device at a time or small groups. The catch with that is it's easy to do, but if you ever find new devices, then you have to do it again. Okay, so sometimes it's good to set it for at a global level, and you do that by going up here to Tools and go to Options. And here in the shared tree, you'd expand Credentials and then Device, and you see a bunch of different types of credentials that might need to be used. Okay, so what you can do is you can define these credentials here in the options, and then WebJet Admin, when it's communicating with the device and it finds out, hey, I don't have the password, it'll go to this catalog and say, I'm going to try these passwords in order. Okay, and if it finds one that works, it'll use it. If it finds that doesn't work, it'll try and get to the end of the list. It'll go to the next credential, and once it gets to the end of the list, then it'll try prompting you for it. Okay, so it kind of gives it a set of options to try. So I'm going to do the same thing I did here: is type in the username and password and push OK. And now if I look at this device and refresh it, I'm telling WebJet Admin, go talk to this device. And it's going to realize it doesn't have the right credential, and it should reach out to that catalog, and then this credential failure should get cleared. And you see that it disappeared there. And I've still got an error because I don't have a yellow cartridge in here right now, but the credential failure disappeared, and now I could push configurations and do other things with this device now that I know the credentials. And now anytime I needed to do a discovery, because I have a credential catalog set up, WebJet Admin will know I'm going to try and use those credentials going forward. Okay? Just as a reminder, you can do this not just for the web server password, but if you set up SNMP community names, either get or set community names, or if you're using SNMP v3, you can do the same thing. Okay? You can set these up by device, or you can set them up in the global catalog for WebJet Admin to use going forward. One final note is that if you are going to use a configuration template to set passwords, going forward, so if I wanted to create a configuration template to change the password on my 586, first of all, I'd have to know what the current password is. Okay, so that's important to know. WebJet Admin has to be aware of what the current one is. And then second of all, when you change it using WebJet Admin will then store that in the database so that it knows what it is. So if you change your password, you don't necessarily have to go back and change your catalog, because for those devices you changed it for, WebJet already knows that it exists. Okay, again, if you discover new devices, then those might have failures and you'd have to deal with those. But if you're configuring credentials with WebJet, it'll already know what they are. And that's the basics of how you deal with credential failures in WebJet Admin.